What if your anxiety and overthinking aren't your fault, but a 2 million-year-old survival system that's secretly ruining your modern life? This story is your guide to taking back control, taming the storm in your head, and finding peace, all while mastering your English. To continue your journey to becoming unstoppable, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a story. What we are about to explore together is not just a book summary. Think of it as a guide, a map to help you take back control of your life. Because the truth is, for so many of us, we are not being destroyed by the world around us. We are being destroyed slowly by our own emotions. The book we will walk through is called Master Your Emotions, written by Thibaut Meurisse. This book is not just something you listen to with your ears. It's something you feel in your heart. It's something you can carry with you every single day because it's about the part of you that nobody else can fix. It's about your mind, your pain, your fear, and your private thoughts. This book will show you why. Sometimes you feel angry for no clear reason. It will explain why you overthink things again and again and sabotage your own happiness. It will help you understand why you sometimes feel empty or lost or frustrated even when your life from the outside looks okay. And most importantly, it will show you how to break free from that emotional prison. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You were just never taught how to manage your emotions. This book, this story changes that. So why should you listen to this? Because no matter where you are in the world, whether you are a student, a worker, a dreamer, or just someone who is tired of feeling stuck, this story is like a mirror you may have been avoiding. And if you stay with me until the end, I promise you, you will understand yourself better than you ever have before. This book summary is also perfect for your English listening practice. It is written in simple, clear English. It is filled with emotional storytelling, real examples, and powerful messages that are easy to understand. So while you learn about mastering your emotions, you will also be improving your vocabulary, your understanding of sentence structure, and your feeling for spoken English all at the same time. Now let's take a deep breath, and let's begin. How your survival mechanism affects your emotions. If you can understand the wiring inside your own mind, you will stop blaming yourself for everything that you feel. Imagine this with me. You are sitting at home, maybe in your favorite chair. It's a quiet evening. Nothing bad has happened. But suddenly, you feel it. Your heart starts to beat a little faster. You feel anxious, a little worried, and you start imagining all the worst-case scenarios in your life. Why does this happen? It happens because deep inside your brain, there is a 2 million-year-old system that is still running. This system was built for one thing: survival. It was not built for modern happiness. Thousands and thousands of years ago, humans had to fight for their lives every single day. There were wild animals, there was starvation, there was violence. Survival was everything. So the human brain evolved with only one primary job to protect you. Not to make you feel good, not to help you grow or find joy. Just one single job: keep you alive. But in today's world, that ancient old brain still exists inside of us, and it has a problem. It cannot tell the difference between a real physical threat and just an uncomfortable feeling. So what happens? A negative comment online. Your brain treats it like a physical danger. You make a small mistake at work. Your brain thinks you are about to die. Someone doesn't reply to your message right away. Your brain tells you, you're not safe. You're not loved. This is the survival mechanism, and it is the reason why so many of us live with anxiety, with fear, and with overthinking, even when there is no real threat around us at all. Imagine a man named Alex living 2,000 years ago. If Alex saw a lion in the forest, his brain would flood his body with fear. This fear would make him run and survive. That is a good use of fear. Now imagine Alex today. He is sitting in an office. There is no lion, but his boss sends him a cold email. The email just says, "We need to talk." In that moment, Alex's brain doesn't know the difference. It sends the exact same fear signals. It screams, "You are in danger. You are about to lose your job. You are going to fail. You are not safe." This is how our own brain becomes the lion. It's our own mind that ruins our day, our sleep, and our peace. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is this: you are not broken. Your mind is just being overprotective. It's trying to help, but it's using a very old map for a very new world. And once you realize this, really understand it, you can stop reacting to every feeling like a victim. You can start responding like a warrior. The key is not to fight your emotions. You cannot win that fight. The key is to understand them. It's to be able to say to yourself, "Okay, this fear I am feeling, it is coming from an old system. It is trying to protect me. But I am the one in charge now, and I do not have to let it control me." This awareness, this simple understanding, is the very first step to your emotional freedom. Chapter 2. What is ego? Ego is not just arrogance. Ego is your false self, and it is keeping you emotionally trapped. Now let's go a little deeper. What really causes most of your emotional pain? It's not failure. It's not rejection. The answer is your ego. But ego is not what most people think it is. Ego is not just about having pride or thinking you are the best. In this book, ego is explained as the false version of you. It is the part of you that is always trying to prove something, to protect something, or to hide something. Let's break that down simply. When you try to look strong, even when you are feeling broken inside, that is your ego. When you fear embarrassment more than you desire growth, that is your ego. When you are constantly, endlessly worried about how other people see you, that is your ego. And the more your life is controlled by your ego, the more you will suffer emotionally. Why? Because the ego is always chasing an image, a perfect story. And when reality does not match that perfect story, your ego breaks and you feel broken with it. Imagine a young man named Daniel. All his life, Daniel was told, "You have to be the best. You have to impress everyone. You have to succeed." So he created an image for himself, a mask. The mask said, "I am successful. I am smart. I am strong." But one day, he fails. And he fails publicly, where everyone can see. He loses his job. His relationship ends. He makes a big mistake. And suddenly, Daniel doesn't just feel bad. He feels worthless. He feels like he is nothing. Why? Because his ego is screaming inside his head. It's saying, "This is not who I am supposed to be. I am not a failure. I cannot let people see me like this." But here is the beautiful truth. Daniel did not lose his worth. He is still valuable. He only lost his ego's mask. The lesson from this is that the ego is the source of our emotional fear. It makes you afraid to be seen as imperfect. It makes you afraid to be seen as human. To master your emotions, you must begin the slow process of letting go of this mask. You must become comfortable with being real, not with being perfect. You can say this to yourself quietly. I am not my job title. I am not my followers on social media. I am not how other people see me. I am who I am. And that is enough. This shift in your identity, this small change in your perspective, is what begins to break the emotional chains that your ego has created for you. Chapter 3. The Nature of Emotions. If you do not understand your emotions, you will always be a slave to them. We live in a world that constantly tells us one big lie. The lie is this: your emotions are the problem. But that is not true. Your emotions are not the problem at all. They are the message. They are the signal. They are like a red warning light on the dashboard of your car. If you don't understand what your emotions are, or where they come from, you will always be confused. You will always be reacting to life. You will always be asking yourself questions like, why do I feel this way? Why am I so angry when nothing really happened? Why am I sad even when everything in my life is fine? To answer those questions, you must understand what emotions truly are. So what are emotions? Emotions are your inner response to how you interpret an experience. They do not come from the outside world. They are not created by events or by other people. They come from your thoughts, from your beliefs, from your interpretation of what is happening. Two people can go through the exact same situation, but feel completely different emotions. Why it is? Because they interpret the situation differently. Imagine two people sitting on an airplane. Suddenly, the plane hits turbulence. The plane starts to shake. Passenger A immediately starts to panic. His heart races. He grabs the seat in front of him. He feels like he is going to die. He thinks, "Oh no, what was that? Is the engine broken? Are we going to fall?" Passenger B, sitting right next to him, just smiles. She closes her eyes and takes a slow, deep breath. It is the same plane, the same shaking, the same moment. But one person feels terror, and the other person feels peace. Why is this? It is because emotions do not come from what is happening. They come from what you tell yourself about what is happening. Passenger A is telling himself a story. This plane is going to crash. Passenger B is telling herself a different story. Turbulence. This is normal. The pilot is in control. It will pass soon. That is the true nature of emotions. They are reactions to your thoughts. What does this mean for you? It means you are not a puppet. Your emotions are not controlling you. Your thinking is controlling you. The next time you feel jealous or angry or insecure or anxious, don't just push the emotion away. Don't ignore it. Pause for a moment and ask yourself a question. What am I believing right now that is creating this emotion? That is where your power begins. Let's look at another story. Sarah walks into a party. She sees two people looking in her direction, and then they start to laugh. Instantly, her heart sinks. She feels a heavy weight in her chest. She thinks to herself, "They are laughing at me. Maybe I look weird. Maybe my dress is ugly. I shouldn't have come here." She starts to feel small, and her mood drops. Her confidence disappears. But here is the truth. Those two people were not laughing at her at all. They were talking about a funny joke someone had just told them. So what created Sarah's painful emotion? It was her own interpretation. It was not reality. It was her story, not the truth. The lesson here is simple but powerful. If you want to master your emotions, you must become a story detective. Every time you feel something painful, stop and ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Is this story 100% true? Could I possibly tell a different, more helpful story? When you change your story, your emotions will follow. This is how you begin to truly master your emotional life. Not by avoiding emotions, but by understanding exactly where they come from. Chapter 4. The Impact of Sleep on Your Mood. Sometimes your sadness has nothing to do with your life and everything to do with your lack of sleep. Most people think they are depressed. Most people think they are anxious. Many people think something is deeply wrong with them. But sometimes the truth is much, much simpler than that. They are just exhausted. In our modern busy world, sleep is the most disrespected medicine there is. And it is our emotions that pay the price for that disrespect. Why is sleep so important for your emotions? Because sleep is when your brain cleans itself. It washes away emotional toxins. Your body regenerates, your nervous system calms down, and your mind resets its emotional balance. When you don't get enough sleep, you become more irritable. You overreact to small things. You feel more stressed, more overwhelmed, and more sensitive to everything. Let's meet Jacob. Jacob is a graphic designer, and he has big dreams. For months, he has been working late into the night. He drinks coffee at midnight. He is skipping sleep to get more work done, and at first it seems to work. He is very productive. He finishes his projects. But slowly, things start to change. He starts snapping at his wife over small things. He finds himself crying for no reason. He loses interest in the things he once loved. He begins to think to himself, "Am I depressed? Is there something seriously wrong with me?" But the answer wasn't emotional. It was physical. For weeks, he was running on only 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. His brain simply could not regulate his emotions anymore. Once his doctor told him to prioritize sleep, he started sleeping for 7 to 8 hours again. And slowly, he noticed the changes. There were fewer mood swings. He had more mental clarity. A feeling of peace started to return to his life. The lesson is this: if your mind feels heavy before you judge yourself, before you decide you are broken. Check your sleep. Ask yourself these simple questions. Am I getting enough sleep? Am I going to bed with stress in my chest? Am I giving my brain the rest it truly needs to recover? Sometimes the most emotional thing you can do for yourself is to take a nap. And sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to simply go to bed early. Chapter 5. Use your body to influence your emotions. Your posture is not just a position. It is a message to your brain. Most people think that emotions are only mental. They think emotions happen only inside our heads. But your body and your emotions are deeply, deeply connected. Your body sends signals to your brain all day long, and those signals shape your mood. If you want to feel more powerful, you must begin by moving powerfully. If you want to feel more confident, you must begin by standing like someone who is confident. How does the body affect emotions? It's quite amazing. When you stand up tall, your brain releases more chemicals associated with confidence. When you breathe slowly and deeply, your heart rate slows down and you feel calmer. When you smile, even if it's a fake smile, your brain starts to release dopamine, which is a happy chemical. The body can create emotion, not just the mind. Imagine a girl named Emily. She is smart, she is kind, and she has a dream of being a public speaker. But every time she walks into a classroom, she makes herself small. Her shoulders slump forward. She lowers her head. She avoids making eye contact. She always sits at the back of the room and never raises her hand. She doesn't realize this, but her body is sending a constant message to her brain. The message is, "I am not enough. I don't belong here. I want to disappear." And so her brain listens, and it begins to feel anxious, nervous, and insecure. One day, her coach tells her, "Emily, I want you to try something different. Tomorrow, I want you to walk into that classroom with your shoulders back and your chin up. I want you to sit in the front row. Smile. Breathe deeply. take up space. She feels nervous, but she tries it, and everything changes. Not because the world changed, but because her body's message to her brain changed. It felt strange at first. Her back felt so straight. But as she walked, she felt a little taller, a little stronger. She took a deep breath, and it calmed her beating heart. The lesson here is profound. You do not need to feel confident to act confident. You can act your way into a new emotion. Before your next meeting, or a social event, or any challenge you have to face, try this. Stand tall. Roll your shoulders back. Breathe deeply and slowly. Walk with purpose. Speak a little more slowly than you normally would. Your body can carry your mind until your mind becomes strong enough to carry itself again. Chapter 6. Using your thoughts to influence your emotions. You are not your thoughts, but your thoughts are shaping your entire life. Let's start this chapter with something most people never realize. Every single emotion you feel started as a thought. Yes, every time you feel jealous or hurt or hopeless or embarrassed or angry, it all began with a single quiet thought. But we often don't catch it. Why? Because thoughts happen so fast, like lightning. They are quiet, they are automatic, and they are invisible. But they are the script that is running the movie of your life. So what exactly is a thought? A thought is like an inner sentence. It is what your mind says about what is happening or what might happen in the future. Let's look at an example. The event is someone else you know succeeds. The thought is, I will never be that good. The emotion is sadness or insecurity. Do you see? The emotion did not come from the event itself. It came from the story, from the thought you told yourself about the event. That is the real power of this chapter. If you can catch the thought, you can control the emotion. But here is the problem. Most of us never question our thoughts. We believe every single one of them, even when they are destructive. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, nobody cares about me, everything is going wrong, I will always be like this, I will never be successful. None of these are facts. They are opinions. They are opinions formed by fear, by past wounds, and by limiting beliefs we have learned over time. So how do you take back control? The book says you must do two things. 1. Observe the thought before it becomes an emotion. 2. Replace the thought with something stronger and more helpful. Let's explore both of these steps in more detail. Step 1 is to observe the thought. Most people feel a negative emotion and they just assume, well, this is just how I feel. But if you can pause for even 10 seconds and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now that is making me feel this way? You will usually find the thought hiding behind the emotion. And just seeing it, just noticing it, breaks its power over you. Step 2 is to replace the thought. This is not about fake positivity. It is not about lying to yourself. This is about mental discipline. For example, the old thought is, I always mess things up. You can replace that with a new, more balanced thought. I have made mistakes, yes, but I learn and I grow every single time. This new thought will lead to a new emotion. It will lead to hope, or courage, or peace. Let's go back to a story. Daniel was a quiet 22-year-old who always avoided social situations. Every time he was around people, he felt nervous and awkward. His palms would sweat, and he just wanted to be invisible. The thought that always ran through his mind was, people don't like me. I'm weird. I don't belong here. One day, his mentor asked him a simple question. Daniel, what proof do you have that nobody likes you? Daniel paused. He couldn't think of any real proof. He had none. His mentor said, "That thought in your head, the one that says, 'They don't like me,' is not the truth. It is your fear in disguise." So Daniel tried something new. He started to practice replacing that thought. He started telling himself, "I don't need to be liked by everyone. I am here to grow, not to perform." The next day, before going to a cafe, he stood for a moment and told himself this new thought. It felt like a little secret, a little piece of power he was giving himself. Slowly, his emotions began to shift. His anxiety decreased. His confidence started to grow. The lesson is this: your brain is like a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. If you keep planting seeds of fear and self-doubt, you will grow weeds. But if you start to consciously plant seeds of hope and growth and discipline, your mind will become a place of peace. You are not the prisoner of your thoughts. You are the creator of your mind. And once you truly understand this, your emotions will finally become your ally, not your enemy. Chapter 7. Using your words to influence your feelings. Words are not just sounds. Words are commands that your brain obeys. What you say, either out loud or in your head, is not just talking. It is programming. Your brain is always listening to you. And when it hears the same words again and again and again, it starts to believe them. It turns them into your identity. So when you say things to yourself like, "I'm such an idiot," or "I can't do anything right," or "I'm always so lazy," your brain listens. Your body reacts. And your emotions collapse. Your words create your emotional world. The problem is, most people speak to themselves like an enemy. You would never talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself. Would you ever say to a loved one, "You are a failure. You are useless. You will never make it"? Of course not. But you say it to yourself, and over time, those words build real emotional damage. But here is the power. You can flip the script. When you change your language, you change your identity. And when you change your identity, your emotions will follow. Let me tell you about Elena. Elena was a 28-year-old athlete who had suffered a career-ending injury. She could no longer compete in the sport she loved. Every morning, she would look in the mirror and whisper to her reflection, "You are nothing now. You failed." Her depression deepened. She lost her energy. Her relationship started to suffer. One day, her therapist gave her a challenge. The therapist said, "For the next 30 days, I want you to say just one sentence to yourself in the mirror every morning. The sentence is, 'I am not my past. I am rebuilding stronger.'" Elena didn't believe it at first. The words felt fake, like a lie. But she did it anyway. By day 10, something started to shift inside her. By day 20, she began to walk with her head held a little higher. And by day 30, she had started coaching other young athletes. She was stronger, wiser, and more alive than before. The lesson is that every word you speak is a building block for your life. So build wisely. Instead of saying, "I'm not smart," try saying, "I am learning more every day." Instead of, "I'm lazy," try, "I am rebuilding my discipline." Instead of, "I'm broken," try, "I am healing." Let your words become your emotional armor. Chapter 8. How your breath affects your emotions. The fastest way to calm your mind is already inside of you. In the middle of chaos, in the middle of fear, you do not need a book or a guru or a therapist or even your phone. You need only one thing, your breath. Your breath is the remote control for your emotions. Why? Because your breath controls your nervous system. It controls your heart rate, your stress response, and your emotional state. Most people, when they are not paying attention, breathe like they are in danger, even when they are safe. They take short, shallow breaths high up in their chest. That kind of breathing tells your brain something is wrong. Prepare to panic. But when you breathe slowly, deeply, and calmly from your belly, your brain gets a completely different message. The message is, we are safe. We are okay. There is no emergency here. And suddenly, your emotions follow that message. Let's look at the science. There is a very important nerve in your body called the vagus nerve. It connects your brain to your heart, your lungs, and your gut. When you breathe deeply and slowly, you activate this nerve. It's like pressing a button that tells your brain calm down. Turn off the alarm system. We are not in danger. Here is an example. Jason was a high-level executive. He was known for exploding in anger during important meetings. His coach gave him a simple challenge. The coach said, "Before every meeting, I want you to take 10 slow, deep breaths. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 6 seconds. You can do it in the bathroom. You can do it at your desk. Just do it." Jason was skeptical. He thought, this is so simple. Can it really work? But he tried it once. Then he tried it twice. Then he started doing it every day. He noticed fewer angry outbursts. He could think more clearly. And he felt a surprising sense of peace inside him, even during stressful conversations. The breath did not change his life. It gave him back control of his life. The lesson is that you carry a powerful emotional tool with you everywhere you go. You do not need money for it. You do not need technology. You do not need anyone else. You just need to breathe. The next time you feel scared, breathe. The next that you feel nervous, breathe. The next time you want to scream, breathe. The next that you want to quit, breathe. Because sometimes the fastest way to master your emotions is to simply pause, close your eyes, and inhale life back into your body. Chapter 9. How to change your emotions. Your emotions are not permanent. They are energy, and you can learn to redirect that energy. Most people believe that their emotions are fixed. They believe if I am sad, I am stuck being sad. If I am angry, I can't control it. If I am hurt, I need someone else to fix me. This belief is a lie. It is a lie that keeps us trapped. Because emotions are not permanent fixtures in your personality. They are temporary reactions that are created by your thoughts, your energy, your habits, and your environment. And more importantly, your emotions are not who you are. They are what you are experiencing. They are just like the weather. You can feel cloudy inside, but you are not the cloud. You can feel hot with anger, but you are not the sun. You can feel cold with fear, but you are not the ice. You are the sky, and the emotions are just the weather passing through you. So how do we actually change our emotions when they feel so strong? Changing an emotion is like redirecting a river. You don't try to fight the water directly. That is impossible. Instead, you dig a new path, a new channel, and you let the water follow that new path. There are 5 powerful methods you can use to change your emotional state. Let's go through each method slowly and clearly. 1. Change. The story you are telling yourself. We have talked about this before. Behind every emotion, there is a story. And if you change that story, you will change the emotion. For example, the emotion is sadness. The story behind it is, I failed. I am a loser. You can create a new story. I tried something very hard. I learned a valuable lesson. This is how I grow. Your emotion will shift not because your life changed, but because your narrative about your life changed. 2. Change your focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. If you are constantly focusing on what is missing from your life, what went wrong in the past, or what you are afraid of in the future, you will always feel negative emotions. But if you can shift your focus to what you can control, what you are learning right now, and what is still possible for you, your emotional state will begin to change. 3. Change your body. As we saw in an earlier chapter, the way you move, stand, and breathe directly affects your mood. When your emotions feel stuck and heavy, move your body. Go for a short walk. Do 10 push-ups. Dance in your living room like no one is watching. Take 5 deep, slow breaths. Your emotions are energy in motion. Moving your body moves the emotion. 4. Change your environment. Sometimes the problem is not your mind. It's the room you are sitting in. It's the people around you. It's the noise, the light, the air. Your environment affects your nervous system. Too much clutter, too much noise, or too much negativity will equal stress. Sometimes the fastest way to change your emotion is to simply leave the room. Step outside into nature, or just put on some music that uplifts your spirit. 5. Change your language. The words you use in your own head, your self-talk, can either trap you or free you. For example, saying to yourself, "I am destroyed," makes you feel hopeless. But saying, "I am hurting right now, but I am healing," makes you feel strong and capable. Language creates emotion. To change your emotions, you do not need magic. You do not need someone to come and save you. You need to take back your own power through these tiny shifts in how you think, move, speak, and focus. It is not always easy, but it is always possible. There was a man named Michael who spent years building a business that he loved. One day, it all collapsed. His business partner betrayed him, and all of his savings disappeared. He felt broken, angry, and deeply depressed. He sat in the same dark room every day, thinking the same thoughts over and over. My life is over. I am a failure. I have nothing left. Then one morning he took a deep breath and asked himself a different question. What if I just change one thing today? He got up and cleaned his room. He went for a walk and felt the sun on his face. He called an old friend and heard a kind voice. He sat down and wrote a new story for himself. This is not my end. This is my new beginning. Nothing on the outside had changed yet, but inside everything shifted. His emotions began to lift. His energy started to return. Within a few months, he started a new project, rebuilt his finances, and created a life that was even stronger than before. Why? Because he did not wait to feel better. He acted better, and the good feelings followed. Chapter 10. Letting go of your feelings. You are allowed to feel your feelings, but you are not meant to carry them forever. Some people never move on. They are still angry about what happened 5 years ago. They are still hurt by a breakup that happened a decade ago. They are still carrying the shame from a mistake they made when they were 18 years old. They don't realize that emotions are meant to move through you like a river. They are not meant to stay inside you and become a stagnant pool. When you hold on to them, they become heavy, and soon that heaviness can turn into depression, bitterness, and even physical pain. This chapter teaches something very profound. You don't let go of pain by forgetting it. You let go and feeling it completely, and then releasing it gently. Why do people hold on to their pain? Sometimes pain feels powerful. It gives them a reason to avoid taking new risks. It gives them an identity, the identity of a victim. Sometimes it gets them attention or sympathy from others. But here is the cost: you cannot hold on to your pain and still move forward into a brighter future. You have to choose one. So how do you actually let go of heavy emotions? Letting go is not pretending that the painful thing didn't happen. It is allowing the emotion to fully come up and then breathing it out of your body. Here is the process, step by step. Step 1. Name it. Simply say to yourself, I am feeling anger right now. Step 2. Allow it. Don't judge the feeling. Just let it be there in your body. Step 3. Feel it fully. If you need to cry, let the tears come. If you need to shake, let your body shake. Let your breath be shallow for a moment if it needs to be. Step 4. Breathe and soften. As the wave of emotion reaches its peak, take a long, deep breath and exhale slowly. Imagine the emotion softening as you breathe. Step 5. Choose a new story. Ask yourself, what lesson do I want to carry forward from this experience? Let me tell you about Anna. Anna had a very complicated childhood. Her father was emotionally abusive, very critical and distant. Even many years after he passed away, she still carried the hurt inside her. She blamed him for her insecurity, for her failed relationships, for her low confidence. One day in therapy, her therapist asked her, "Do you want to carry this pain for another 30 years? Or are you ready to finally feel it and free yourself?" Anna cried for hours. She wrote a long letter to her father, a letter she would never send. She screamed into a pillow, and then she forgave him. Not because he deserved her forgiveness, but because she deserved to be at peace. And in that moment of forgiveness, the chains that had held her for so long finally broke. She didn't forget her past, but it no longer ruled her emotions. The lesson is this: letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is the bravest thing you will ever do, because it means you are ready to grow. You are ready to heal. You are ready to stop being a prisoner of your pain and start becoming the author of your life again. Chapter 11. Preparing your mind to feel more positive emotions. You do not have to wait for joy to arrive. You can prepare for it. You can invite it into your life. Here is a simple truth that no one ever teaches us in school. Happiness is not an accident. Peace is not just luck. Joy is not random. These are positive emotions that you can prepare your mind to receive. Imagine your brain is a garden. If you don't plant anything in that garden, weeds will grow. Negative thoughts worry fear. These things grow naturally in an untrained mind. But if you start to intentionally plant seeds of gratitude, love, excitement, and peace, and you water those seeds daily, you can train your mind to attract and hold positive emotions. So how do you prepare your mind for positive emotions? First, start your day with intentional thoughts. Don't just wake up and immediately scroll through your phone. Start your day with 3 simple thoughts. What is one thing I can be thankful for today? What is one positive emotion I want to feel today? How can I serve or help someone today, even in a small way? Second, avoid negative input in the morning. For the first hour of your day, try to avoid toxic news, violent content, or comparing yourself to others on social media. Feed your mind peace in that first hour. Third, practice visualization. Close your eyes for just a few minutes and imagine yourself feeling calm, strong, smiling, and fulfilled. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and an imagined one. It responds to the feeling of joy in both. Fourth, reflect at night with grace. Before you go to sleep, don't think about all the things that went wrong during the day. Think about what went right, even the small things. Whisper the words, "Thank you," even if it was a very hard day. Find one small thing to be grateful for. Imagine a beautiful garden. It has perfect soil. The sun shines on it every day. The seeds have been planted for beautiful flowers, strong trees, and delicious fruit. But nobody waters the garden. Days pass, then weeks, and soon the soil becomes dry. The leaves turn brown. The flowers die before they can even bloom. Now imagine someone walks by and says, "What a waste! That garden must be broken." But the truth is, the garden was not broken. It was just neglected. It didn't need fixing. It only needed attention, nourishment, and consistency. That is exactly how your mind and your emotions work. You have the potential for so much beauty, strength, and peace inside you. But if you never give yourself quiet moments, if you never practice gratitude, if you never feed yourself positive thoughts, if you never give yourself rest and joy, then you should not be surprised when your emotions feel dry, heavy, or dead. You are not the problem. You just haven't been watering your inner garden. Start today. Even one drop of water at a time is enough. And slowly, slowly, the flowers of your peace will begin to bloom again. The lesson is simple. Peace is not a gift that you receive. It is a place that you build inside yourself, brick by brick, breath by breath. Train your mind to be a home for light, not for darkness. Because you are the gardener, and the flowers of joy will grow wherever you prepare the ground. Chapter 12. Short-term and long-term solutions to deal with negative emotions. You cannot solve lifelong pain with a temporary distraction, but you can learn to manage both the immediate moment and the long journey of healing. When we experience negative emotions like sadness, anxiety, anger, or loneliness, our first instinct is to escape. We immediately look for short-term relief. We watch YouTube for hours. We eat something sweet. We scroll endlessly through social media. We complain to others or blame them. We sleep all day. We do anything to distract ourselves. And in the moment, it often works. We feel a little bit better. But that relief is temporary. And once the distraction wears off, the pain comes back, and sometimes it comes back even worse than before. That is the critical difference between short-term fixes and long-term healing. This chapter teaches us something very important. Negative emotions are not evil. They are signals. They are messengers from deep within you. Your job is not to push them away or to hide from them. Your job is to handle the immediate moment with care using a short-term strategy, and to heal the root cause of the pain with patience using a long-term strategy. Let's go deeply into both of these. First, let's talk about short-term strategies. How do you survive the moment? Sometimes an emotion is just too heavy. You might feel panic rising in your chest or a wave of sadness that is crushing you. In those moments, you can't think clearly. You just want to escape. Here are some healthy short-term tools you can use to calm your system down. First, deep breathing. Take 10 slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Second, cold water. Splash cold water on your face or run your hands under cold water. This helps to shift your nervous system. Third, physical grounding. Hold an object in your hand like a stone or a set of keys. Feel its texture, its weight, its temperature. This brings you back to the present moment. Fourth, movement. Walk around the room, jump up and down, or shake your body. Move the energy. And fifth, safe distraction. Listen to some calming music sounds of nature or an uplifting video. A short-term strategy is not about fixing the problem. It is about soothing yourself. It is about creating enough space so that you can survive the storm. Now let's talk about long-term solutions. This is how you heal the root of the pain. And this is where most people fail. They try to fix deep pain with shallow solutions. They avoid therapy. They avoid self-reflection. They avoid the hard work of forgiveness. But real emotional mastery comes from doing the deep, slow work. Here are some powerful long-term practices. Journaling. Writing down your feelings, your questions, and noticing your patterns. Mindfulness practice. Learning to sit with your emotions without judging them. Forgiveness. Releasing old resentment and anger not for the other person, but for your own peace. Inner child healing. Understanding and comforting the wounded part of you that is still scared or hurt from your past. Building meaningful routines. Consistent sleep. Exercise, learning, and time in nature can slowly rewire your brain for peace. And finally, seeking help. A good coach, a wise mentor, or a compassionate therapist can shift everything for you. The difference can be put in one sentence. Short-term tools help you survive the moment. Long-term tools help you transform your life. You need both. And you deserve both. And if you practice them patiently, your negative emotions will stop being your enemy and start becoming your trusted guides. Chapter 13. How emotions can guide you in the right direction. Your emotions are not problems that need to be fixed. They are maps that you need to learn how to follow. Most people treat their emotions like enemies. If they feel bad, they push the feeling away. If they feel fear, they freeze and do nothing. If they feel anger, they either explode or they shut down completely. But this chapter reveals a new, more powerful way to look at your emotions. Every emotion you feel is trying to guide you somewhere. Every emotion is a message, a compass, a teacher. If you learn to listen to it, it will show you what is out of balance in your life. If you ignore it, the message will only become louder, heavier, and harder to control. What might your different emotions be telling you? When you feel anger, maybe it's asking you, has someone crossed a line? Do you need to protect yourself or speak up? The message might be that you feel violated and you need to set a boundary. When you feel sadness, perhaps the message is, what have you lost? What is important to you that is now gone? Sadness tells you that you are grieving something important. When you feel jealousy, the message might be that you want something and you believe that you cannot have it. When you feel fear, it often means you are about to grow. Something important is on the line. When you feel shame, the message is that you are carrying a false story about your own worth. If you listen to these messages, you can take powerful, wise action from each emotion. So how do you use your emotions as a guide? First, you pause and ask, what exactly am I feeling right now? Give it a name. Second, you locate the cause. What triggered this feeling? What belief is hiding behind it? Third, you ask for the message. What is this emotion trying to protect me from? Or what is it trying to push me toward? And fourth, you decide on the action. What wise and helpful step can I take based on this emotion? The lesson is this. The next time you feel a negative emotion, pause. Do not silence it. Do not fear it. And do not distract yourself from it. Instead, ask it a question. What are you trying to tell me? What is out of balance in my life? What part of me is calling for love and attention? Your emotions are not curses. They are calls for change. Chapter 14. Taking care of what people think of you. Your freedom begins the moment you stop being controlled by other people's opinions. This is one of the deepest and most common emotional chains of all, the fear of judgment. We ask ourselves, What will they think of me if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if they don't like me? What if I am not accepted? This fear stops people from speaking up in meetings. It stops them from starting their own businesses. It stops them from telling the truth. It stops them from creating art. It stops them from leaving bad relationships. It stops them from taking healthy risks. This fear kills more dreams than failure ever could. This chapter breaks that fear apart. It shows you that people are not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. And it shows you that their opinions are usually based on their own wounds and their own fears, not on your truth. Seeking approval from others is a never-ending trap. It's a game you can never win because it is never enough. What matters most is how you see yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Why do I want their approval so much? What part of me feels unsafe without it? Who am I trying to impress, and why? What would my life look like if I lived for my own truth, not for their applause? Here is a truth bomb from the book. People will judge you no matter what you do. If you stay silent, they will say you are weak. If you speak up, they will say you are too loud. If you follow your dreams, they will say you are arrogant. If you give up on your dreams, they will say you had no discipline. So you might as well do what feels true to your own soul. Let me tell you about Lucas. Lucas was a gifted dancer, but he hid it for years. His family told him that dancing was embarrassing and not a real career. So he got a normal job that he didn't like. He played small. He was always anxious and felt like he was wearing a costume. One day, he saw a video online of a dancer who was inspiring thousands of people. Something inside of him woke up. Tears came to his eyes as he felt, that should be me. He quit his job, moved to a new city, and took a huge risk. He started performing even when some people mocked him or laughed. And one day, the same kinds of people who once laughed were now clapping for him. He did not wait for approval. He chose freedom over fear. The lesson is that approval is a cage and freedom is the key. And you are the one holding the key. Let people misunderstand you. Let them talk. You are not alive on this earth to please everyone. You are alive to become the person you were meant to be. And the moment you stop caring so much about their judgment, you start living in your full emotional power. Chapter 15. Lack of motivation. When your soul feels tired, it is not because you are weak. It is because your mind, your body, and your heart are out of alignment. A lack of motivation is not laziness. It is not stupidity. It is not a lack of talent. It is a sign. It is a signal. It is a message from deep inside you that something is not right. Maybe you have felt this feeling. You wake up feeling tired even after 8 hours of sleep. You know what you should be doing, but you still don't do it. You have lost interest in the things that used to excite you. You feel like every day is just the same. You start to ask yourself, what's the point? This chapter is not about giving you cheap tricks like make a to-do list or set a timer. It goes much, much deeper. Because real sustainable motivation does not come from pressure. It comes from alignment. It comes when your actions, your values, your energy, and your purpose are all walking in the same direction. So why do we lose our motivation? Let's explore the 5 deepest reasons. 1. You are emotionally exhausted. When you carry too much stress, guilt, shame, or grief, your emotional system simply burns out. It's not that you don't want to take action. It's that you have lost the emotional energy to care. 2. You are disconnected from your purpose. You are doing things every day that do not excite your spirit. You are living on autopilot. Your soul is screaming for meaning, but your daily routine is just full of noise. 3. You are overwhelmed by pressure. You have too many tasks and too many expectations from others and from yourself. So your brain shuts down and says, "This is too much. Let's just do nothing instead." 4. You are trapped in perfectionism. You are waiting for the right moment, the perfect plan, or complete clarity before you start. But that moment never comes, and so you stay frozen. 5. You are comparing your journey to others. You scroll online and you feel like you are behind. You think everyone else is ahead of you, so why should you even try? And the result of all of this is that you stop moving, but inside you are still hurting. So how do you rebuild your motivation? This chapter offers a radical truth. Do not chase motivation. Instead, create motion. Even the smallest, tiniest action, a 10-minute walk, a cold shower. Writing one sentence in a journal can reawaken the fire inside of you. Do something, anything, not to achieve a big goal, but just to remind yourself that you are alive. You also rebuild motivation through love. Love for your future self. Love for the quiet dream that is still inside you. Love for the person you are becoming. Discipline without love becomes torture. But discipline that is powered by love becomes unstoppable. Imagine a big mountain standing all alone in the cold winter. There are no flowers, no birds, no colors. There are just rocks, dry trees, and cold air. People walk by and they say, "This mountain is dead. Nothing will ever grow here again." But deep inside the mountain, something is happening. The snow is slowly melting. Water is moving under the ground. The seeds are resting quietly. The roots are getting stronger. But no one can see it. The mountain is not dead. It is just waiting, preparing, resting. Then one day the sun returns, and everything begins to change. Flowers start to bloom again. Water flows down the mountain. Green leaves grow on the trees. Life returns. All because the mountain was quietly rebuilding even when no one believed in it. The lesson is this: if you feel unmotivated right now, it does not mean that you are broken. It means something inside of you needs to be healed, to be heard, and to be reconnected. Return to your values. Remove comparison from your life. Do one small thing today. Trust that the fire will come back. Because it will. And when it does, you won't just feel motivated. You will feel alive again. This is not the end of a book. This is the beginning of a new version of you. You have now walked through every emotion. You have seen your fear, your sadness, your shame, and your anger. Not as monsters to run away from, but as messengers to learn from. You have discovered that your thoughts create your reality, that your body can shift your energy, that your breath is your reset button, that your words shape your identity, that your past pain does not need to be your future story. You have learned that you are not your emotions. You are the master of them. And maybe for the very first time in your life, you now realize that you were never weak. You were never broken. You were just never shown the tools. But now you have them. You know how to heal, how to reflect, how to choose, how to release, how to grow, and how to rebuild. So here is my final message to you today. Stop waiting to be perfect. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop asking for permission from others. Stop trying to make everyone happy. The life you want, the peace you deserve, the strength you admire in other people. It is already inside of you. It has been there all along. Waiting patiently, waiting silently. Now it is your time to rise. Don't live your life controlled by anger or fear or the opinions of others. Don't keep dying in your own mind while your heart still has dreams. You were not meant to just survive. You were meant to transform. So move forward. one breath at a time. And if no one else believes in you, let this message be the voice that says, I believe in you. You are not done yet. If you are ready to continue on this journey of mastering your emotions, you can subscribe to our channel to be part of our community. And if you know someone who is silently struggling, perhaps sharing this story with them can be a little light in their darkness. Remember, this book did not just teach you how to feel better. It taught you how to become unstoppable. I will see you in the next video. And until then, keep rising. You were born for more.